A lot of important people came together to produce Destiny's Child's second album, The Writings on the Wall. But I feel that Kevin Briggs, aka Shakespeare, is the most defining one of them all. You can hear his production on the smash hit Bills, 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 on Hey Ladies, on So Good, Bugaboo. The man's fingerprints are all over that classic patented sound, those classic uptempo R&B beats that we hear on The Writings on the Wall. I'm telling y'all this because in this video we are making a beat similar to that. Let's go. We are trying to do Kevin Briggs, aka Shakespeare's production style justice by making a beat for Destiny's Child, and I'm using the songs Bills, Bills, Bills and Hey Ladies as a template. Also, I just want to take a little detour and give a shout out to my older sister Marlene, because she is the sole reason why I am so infatuated with that particular sound of Destiny's Child. I have a lot of fond memories of me just sitting in my room and her blasting Destiny's Child as loud as she could, to the point where the neighbors started complaining. So big sis, if you're watching this video, thank you and I love you. So what exactly did I do to get the sound that I got? Well, I listened to a lot of Destiny's Child extensively, almost religiously, but I also combined, of course, the Chord Triton with sounds from 3 different drum kits, one being a Darkchild drum kit, one being a drum kit that features sound from the Chord Triton because it does have drums, and a lot of it is actually percussion from a Timbaland drum kit by the Lunch 77. So that's what I'm using in this video. Those are my ingredients. Alright, so let's kick off my beat breakdown with my chord progression. I've written this in the key of C minor. You can see, if you're a little bit familiar with the degrees and you know general chord movement, that it's a super vanilla chord progression. It is the 4-5-1 chord progression, meaning that I'm starting with an F minor 7, which is a chord based on the 4th degree, using the 4th degree, the 4th note in the scale as the root note. I am then transitioning to my 5th degree, which is a G minor 7 chord right here. I'm landing on my 1st degree, which is a C minor 7 chord right here, and I'm using this dope G augmented 7 chord and this D sharp major 7 chord as passing chords to go back to my 4th degree again. So that is it. That is the super accessible chord progression that I'm using. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's an accessible chord progression, because the real challenge of this super chord progression, this super dope chord progression, lies in the stuff that I can do with it if I decide to say invert the chords, or say add, different voicings to the chords. So have a listen to the vanilla chord progression and what I eventually turn it into, and we're breaking that down short and sweet after that. Now you might be wondering, what did I do to turn that vanilla chord progression into this? Well, honestly, the first thing I did, I extended my chords. So I turned, for example, this F minor 7 chord into a F minor 9th chord right here. So basically, you take your regular minor chord, you add a minor 3rd, makes it a minor 7, you add a major 3rd, makes it a minor 9. It's easy as that. So what I did to that G, I took this G minor 7 chord and I ended up turning it into a, let me just try and get this right, a G7 sus 4 with a sharp 9. And the process went as followed. So G minor 7 chord right here. I took this 3rd, decided to pitch it up, turn it into a dominant chord, cool. I love the sound, but I thought that a 7 sus 4 chord was a better fit. So I took what is still the 3rd and I pitched it up again, turning it into a 7 sus 4 chord right here. I decided to experiment with adding a 9 on top, which would end up here. So this is a flat 9. This would make it a G9 sus 4 chord. And I think that, if I look at the notes up top and how they're being led and how they should be leading, I thought that something with a sharp 9 was a better fit. So this process of altering notes one semitone up or semitone down is called altering. So pitching them one semitone up or down is called altering, and that's a technique that I often use with my sus chords or with my augmented chords, which are altered chords in itself. Speaking of that, I also turned my augmented chord into an augmented 7 chord right here. And on the subject of chord extensions, again, I turned my C minor 7 into a C minor 11, and I took that fifth and I doubled it up top. And to close it off, what I did is, well, you know that the phrase begins with the 4th degree, which is an F minor 7. I decided to go with the 6th degree, which is a G sharp major 7 right here, which gives us that classic 4-5-1 chord progression, which goes dun, dun, dun. It sounds like that in the bass. And at the end, I decided to throw in this little G diminished 7 chord for caca and giggles. That's basically it. So for the people that are curious as to which sounds I used, it is now time for the sound selection. So we're going through each and every patch, and I'm playing them to you stacked on top of each other so you can hear them all in context and what they're doing. I actually done goofed a little. I forgot to say that I'm also using a library in Kontakt, the Evolution Modern Nylon from Orange Tree Samples, to add an acoustic guitar to my amazing beat. Let's go. Alright, so we are starting off with the first instance of the chord triton, playing the attack piano, and goddamn, that shit has a lot of attack. You hear it in the preview. It's a very present and bright piano which really takes center stage. I've already played y'all the chord progression, but for the sake of repetition, you're gonna hear a snippet of it again. Now moving on, I thought it was good to have a layer of airiness, and I thought that this particular vocal airy patch, which is actually a pad, really added that to the beat. So this is the moi moi vibe patch vibrato. I don't know what it stands for, but either way, listen to it. So the cool thing about Evolution Modern Nylon is that, much like a lot of other vendors, Orange Tree Samples included a strumming engine. So this is basically just playing a super simple strumming pattern with upstrokes and downstrokes and following the regular chord progression. I thought it really added something to the beat, something really classy, something really late 90s. Check it out. Now moving on, I thought it really added some layer of drama and some classic Destiny's Child, Kevin Briggs, Shakespeare kind of sheen if I added some stabby string notes, especially in the hook. So that's exactly what I did with this octave strings patch. So this one right here, the scoring strings patch, this is a strings patch that I frequently use when I'm using the triton, and it's actually playing something similar to the bass notes. So while on that note, haha, I see what you did there. While on that note, this is the nasty bass patch. So the scoring strings patch and the nasty bass patch are working together to really add some emphasis in our low end in the beat. And last but not least, of course, I took out just a standard patch. It even doesn't have a snapshot loaded in Evolution Modern Nylon to play some very, very subtle grace notes. So beautiful folks, before we proceed, this is an overview of all of the drums and percussion samples that I used to make this amazing drum groove. And the key takeaways when making a drum groove, similar to how Shakespeare did it on Hey Ladies and Bills, 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 and especially something in that particular time period because, on Say My Name, Darkchild has kind of a similar groove going on. It is important to make sure that all of your perks shine, that your perks are able to be present, but they all have to be complementary to each other. So what you're going to hear in this drum drum groove is that nothing is taking up space. Everybody is just taking the space that is left behind by the other element. And there's a couple of percussion hits, such as this one. You know, quintessential late 90s R&B. This one, you got to have this one. You need to have this one if you're making a late 90s R&B beat. And this one, which is, hold up, no, it's this one. This one, I think I heard it on Hey Ladies. And I think it's spread up. I think you hear it across the album. I think it's also there on Say My Name or Bugaboo. But I really thought it was cool to introduce it, you know, just to get as much of the sound going on, but still take a little bit of creative liberty so that it remains my own beat. Man, and other than that, beautiful folks, there really isn't a lot that I gotta say to y'all about making these amazing patented Destiny's Child beats in the style that Shakespeare used to on the writings on the wall. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. I thought this was an ambitious video because Destiny's Child is such an amazing, legendary, iconic, upper echelon, divine group. So I do hope that I did them and that patented sound on writings on the wall justice. Now, if you appreciate the video, I would definitely enjoy, you know, seeing you like, share, and subscribe and all that good stuff. But I think I would be most happy to see y'all in the next video. So y'all be easy. Peace.